And good afternoon, everybody! Mike and the Mad Dog Radio program here. Me and Michael last night went to the Berkeley Center for Rick Springfield. No, dog, hold on a second. Wait a second, dog. It's Bruce Springsteen in Barclays Center. Oh, sorry, well, it doesn't make any sense to me. Alright, well, what a show last night. He played 36 songs, is that right? Let me check the set list. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, here, dog. This is when he stopped the river. Okay? He kept going. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Okay? That's a great show. Not a good show, that's a great show. And he covered the Purple Rain by Queen. No, dog, not Queen. It's Prince. Alright, show a little respect. Okay? Alright, there's a little bit I just wanted to do on Mike and the Mad Dog. I did see Bruce the other night, 4-hour marathon at Barclays Center. I just thought it was today Mike and the Mad Dog would have talked about that show. They would have been at both, sitting next to Chris Christie, who was dancing with his belt, his pants all the way up to his nipples. He was there. A lot of fun. So that's the one time I missed Mike and the Mad Dog, because they would have talked most of the show about Bruce Springsteen and not even talked about the NFL draft. Deflategate 2.0. Rangers in the playoffs and losing the playoffs, Islanders still in the playoffs, Mets, Yankees, all of it takes a back seat to Bruce, so I just wanted to make fun of that. Yeah, so great show. Where do I want to start? I know I did a lot of stuff on the Rangers already, so I'll just wrap it up quickly. I mean, they lost in Game 5. I picked them to lose Game 6. So I guess they stayed at one extra game, so I was kind of right on the money, though. I had a feeling this team was not going to do much damage in the playoffs just because of the up and down season they had, and also because they ran into the hottest team in the playoffs. I think the Penguins have a real good shot at beating the Capitals next round. So Gary Bettman in the NHL, congrats, you guys get your wish. You get your Crosby and Malkin versus Crosby and Malkin versus Ovechkin next round of playoffs. So now your Canadian fans will finally have a reason to tune in. And they'll care about something. But yeah, I mean the Rangers just were not, they weren't the team they were last year. They weren't the team they were in 2014. All you can think about is if the Rangers, if Zuccarello didn't get hit in the head with a puck from McDonough last year, did they beat the Lightning in the series and move on to the Stanley Cup? Who knows? Who knows what happens if, I don't know, the referees wanted to call a penalty against the Kings here and there, especially when they interfere with Lundqvist seemingly every game. In 2014, Rangers had a 2-goal lead, and I believe 3 of the games in that series. So it's just tough. But and now everyone's saying the sky's falling for the Rangers. I don't necessarily agree that much. I think that you have Lundqvist is still locked up. You have your core group of guys who I believe will be back. I believe most of the restricted free agents will be back. Including Hayes, Kreider, Miller. You have Stepan. McDonough's not going anywhere, so you have a good core. The unrestricted free agents, outside of Antti Raanta, I can't see many being back. I don't see them re-signing Keith Yandel, and he's turning 30. So you don't want to pull what the Rangers usually did in the past with signing those guys who are around that age to long contracts, because at the end of the contract you're basically doing what you're doing with Daniel Girardi. I mean, look at Brad Richards, look at Wade Redden, look at Chris Drury, look at Scott Gomez, all those guys we signed to big deals when they were kind of out of their prime. And not that Keith Yandel is, but 3-4 years he might be. So we'll see what happens there. But I do like Keith Yandel a lot. The Rangers were in the news because of Dan Boyle screaming at Larry Brooks, the writer for the Post, telling him to get the F out. It doesn't want him in the media scrum. I guess Boyle can't handle. Not that I love Larry Brooks, but if you're a player and you can't take criticism from a columnist, and especially from a guy who shows up to your face too. I mean, I kind of respect that Larry Brooks writes the stuff and shows up. I think you can't have thin skin like that as a player. It's their job. He's doing his job the same way I could crush somebody on this, the same way people do on radio, the same way people do on TV. The same stuff happens on, in print. So I don't think Dan Boyle was right at all for, singling out Larry Brooks, I think telling him to leave the media scrum just because he doesn't like what he writes. I mean, I believe there's been plenty of positive articles about Dan Boyle too, and it doesn't work both ways where he praises him, to the rest of the media when he writes something nice. So I'm not really a fan of that. I think it looks pretty bad, especially to end your season like on such a low note and then just go yell at the media who covers you. It's just, well, you're gonna, why beat a dead horse? Why pour more salt in the wound? Why continue this agonizing season? So I don't know. I'm more positive with the Rangers' future than most people are. I think they could still be a playoff team next year because they still have Henrik Lundqvist. They still have a good core. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Rick Nash and those really high-paid guys if they move people around. But I think the minors league system they have, there are some players in the works who are good. I think Brady Shea will have a full-time spot at defense. I hope Dylan McElrath does as well. So things are not so bad as a lot of people have been saying. But obviously wanted the season to end in a better way. As for the rest of the NHL playoffs, Islanders, congrats to them. The New York team remaining, probably the only thing worth watching right now since baseball is still early on and boring. NBA playoffs have been pretty atrocious. The Islanders had a really good series, really fun series with the Panthers, moving on to the next round to play the Lightning. To be honest, I don't see the Lightning or Islanders beating either team that wins the Capitals-Penguins series, so it does not really matter. For the sake of the city, I hope the Islanders do find a way to beat the Lightning. I'm not a huge fan of the Lightning since the Rangers did lose to them last year, so I have a little saltiness towards them, but hopefully the Islanders have I just want another fun series. That's really all it comes down to. But I'll probably be rooting for a team from the West. I'm not sure. I'm wearing a Duck shirt right now because they're playing the Predators tonight in Game 7, but I'm not sure who my team going forward is. It could be Anaheim, could be Dallas. I don't know yet, but I'll do more NHL, deeper stuff down the road because there are a couple of things I wanted to get to besides the Rangers NHL today. Deflategate 2.0. Tom Brady suspended now for 4 games. I cannot believe I'm talking about this again. I feel like me and Nick did years back, it feels like years back, about Tom Brady being suspended and then not suspended, and this whole issue with deflating the balls. And the number one thing that I can't stand is that people say, Greg Hardy was suspended 4 games. How can Tom Brady be suspended the same amount of games as a woman beater? The answer is Greg Hardy should have not been suspended 4 games at all. Greg Hardy should have not been allowed to play in the NFL. What other job can you do where you can go beat somebody and get arrested for it, and or have charges brought upon you, and your employer is still like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, you can get brought up in HR for making a stupid comment, and you can get kicked out of your office for that. Look, so just because the NFL is this weird, bubble of society where if you commit really heinous crimes like murder and assault and, drug charges, all that stuff, you could still play just because it's a big business and the team is paying you millions of dollars, and if you somehow perform well enough for that team, that organization, they're going to keep you at all costs. The Dallas Cowboys somehow withstood the negative media attention that kept Greg Hardy. He was suspended 4 games. Tom Brady suspended 4 games for a couple of differences, PSI differences, pounds per square inch of a football. That's what he suspended 4 games for. And partially, I think the real reason why he suspended 4 games now is because he lied to the NFL. He smashed his phone. That's the one thing where, look, it's a weird dynamic because I don't think Roger Goodell should have as much power as he does. But that being said, if you suspend a guy who was not cooperating, who smashed his phone and was lying basically to your face about who the deflator was, calling it one of the training guys like losing weight, like come on, I know what I would call my friends if he lost a bunch of weight and would it's not a deflator, it's worse stuff. It's if I had a friend that was fat and had to go on some drastic weight loss changes, I don't think deflator is a word I'd use. I don't think anyone would use deflator. No one's buying that, Tom. I believe equipment violations were a 2-game suspension, so I'm not opposed to doubling it for the fact that he had to drag us out for another whole season and lie about it. I mean, you smash your phone, all the Giselle news he had gone. The phone just crumbled, because he wouldn't want to give it over with all the text messages he had. How do you not think this is fishy? How do you not think all the stuff they actually have in words, in text, was not in reference to the footballs? There's the Ravens and the Colts both alerting NFL about this. It's not. I think the Patriots fans and all people sticking up for Brady have to realize that Brady violated it even though it's as minor as a couple, PSI football, 14 to 12 to 10, whatever it was, as minimal and as unimportant as that seems, the fact that he lied about it and made it a really hard process to just say, yes, I didn't do it, or, yes, I did it, or no, I didn't do it. That's the problem I have. So the 4-game suspension for him, I'm not bothered at all because it should have been 2 for an equipment malfunction, illegality, and I would add on 2 more for lying and 2 more for making this process as hard as it and miserable as and long as it's been. Comparing it to Greg Hardy is just asinine because Greg Hardy should not be allowed to play in the NFL. And for some reason, the NFL thinks 4 games is suitable for a man who beats a woman, or 4 games is suitable for a man who got caught with a DUI, or Sheldon Richardson got guns in his car and was speeding, or I believe Dante Stallworth killed somebody while high in his car. So, look, the NFL is not the best place to go back and say, well, how long suspensions were for these crimes because they don't care. It's the NFL. Like I said, it's a bubble. It's in society. It's a very strange workplace where you could do a lot of things wrong in society, but as long as you perform on Sunday, you're going to be suiting up. So it's not something good to compare to. That being, the Deflategate suspension in regards to what it does with the NFL season, I mean, look, I think the Patriots will be okay. They'll be over 500. Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, is still a serviceable player. You still have a pretty good offense with, Gronk and, Edelman, Amendola. The running game last year with Blunt. And plus, you have the draft coming up, so let's see what else happens there. But I do think the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills all have a team that could be around 500, at or above. I think the Jets last year were right there to make the playoffs. Obviously, they didn't last game of the season, losing to the Buffalo Bills. But if they figure out this whole quarterback situation, I don't think any of the first 4 games for the Patriots are you could write them off as being a win. They're playing the Cardinals, which is a very tough game without Brady. I believe they're playing the Dolphins and the Bills. And I'm forgetting the last game. I probably should look this up for you while I'm doing this. I can look it up right now. But they always play the Bills tough. They always play the Dolphins, tough. I mean, the Dolphins play the Patriots tough. The Bills play the Patriots tough. So it's not like you're going to walk in with a guy who's starting the season off when he's not expecting to, and they're going to waltz right in and steal, a victory. I'm not even sure who the last game is. But Chapeau Francesa, just dead air. But I think sooner or later the NFL, the Patriots' reign of dominance over the NFL has to end. And I don't know. I mean, Belichick, Brady can't win out every single year. There has to be one time where something's gonna, give them a hiccup, and that's gonna be the end of that. And I'm just not sure if. Why not? Why can't it be now? Why can't it be when Tom Brady's out for 4 games? Why can't it be when, oh, here we go. The Texans the other game. So I was right. Dolphins, Bills, Texans. Texans game. That's probably the easiest one out of them, if I'm being honest. Although they did sign Brock Osweiler. I actually like Brock Osweiler a lot. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, they're not playing the worst teams in the league. I don't think they're going to just win every single game and be right back on track with, a 4-0 record. I think it'll definitely be tough playing the Cardinals without a doubt. So, who knows what happens? Who knows what the AFC this year is up for grabs? I think, obviously, losing Brady for 4 games will give a real shot to the Jets, I think, are probably, the team who's right there. I think the Bills will be a little bit better than the Dolphins this year. But I think those teams are both 8-8, around 500. So, we'll see what happens. If the Patriots melt, then this really hurt them. If the Patriots, somehow go 12-4, 13-3, even with the suspension, then credit to them, and that's why everyone hates them, because they just seemingly don't stop. They're just a train. Last thing I wanted to get to was the NFL draft coming up, especially for these New York teams. With the Giants, looks like they're going to go with the Floyd, the linebacker from Georgia, who seems to be getting a lot of steam right now at the end of this draft process, literally at the end, because tomorrow is the draft. Miles Jack is a guy a lot of people like around that spot, but because of this injury, the Giants seem to not want him taking him at 10. They have some grading system with injuries, and I guess this is all from comments that Jerry Reese made, that they seem that they don't want to take him that spot because they're afraid of the injuries flaring up. And I think he plays linebacker as well. He's from UCLA. I think he'd be a great fit. I like him a lot. The other guy I like is Ronnie Stanley from Notre Dame. I'm a bit biased there because I love Notre Dame, but I've watched every single one of Ronnie Stanley's games. I think he's great. The Giants plugging him in a left tackle or right tackle, depending on what they do with Eric Flowers. You have two, guys to protect Eli for the next couple of years while Eli's still around. So I was fine with that. If they go, typical Jerry Reese move and take BPA and take a receiver or something and putting him opposite Odell Beckham, I'm not opposed to it entirely because I think it'll be fun to watch and the Giants could score a ton of points this year. But it's not a need. I think O-line's a need. I think front seven's a need. I would even take a cornerback if Jalen Ramsey slides, which he won't. But if Vernon Hargraves is there, someone who deserves to be taken around that spot, or is there, I'll be alright with that. The Jets, a lot of rumors with Paxton Lynch. Seems like they're gonna try to get Paxton Lynch at 20. If not, they might move up. I've seen them also be targeting Will Fuller from Notre Dame, another receiver. Again, I'm not sure why the Jets would take a receiver when they have Decker and Marshall, but no quarterback. I think the Jets' best scenario is to try to draft Paxton Lynch, try to keep Muhammad Wilkerson, and try to go into this year with, I don't know, somehow way figure out signing Ryan Fitzpatrick and let Paxton Lynch learn under Fitzpatrick. I'm not sure how you can accomplish all these things in this draft, but it's definitely I think it makes the most sense to me. If not, I think the next best option for the Jets at 20 is to go pass rusher, or just to rebuild back some of that defense. I think on the offensive side of the ball, you're okay. You have DeBrickashaw's replacement with Ryan Clady at left tackle. You want. I don't like running back in the first round. They have him at Forte anyway, but I think Ezekiel Elliott's the one guy that's the can't miss player, but he's going to go top 5. I just can't. I can't fathom why you take a running back that early. So the Jets are, I think, a decent spot to get a player of need. If they get Paxton Lynch, I think it's a home run because you could, let him learn and be the quarterback of the future because Fitzpatrick is not. So I would be a good pick for the Jets if they took him. So, let's see what happens. Tomorrow should be fun. The Giants pick, he's definitely gonna stink because Jerry Reese has not really been a good drafter at all as recent memory. So, obviously besides Odell, but he should have been fired. So we'll see what happens. It'll be good. I think the number 1 pick will be Goff. I think 2 will be Wentz. So the Eagles fans will get Carson Wentz from North Dakota State, Jared Goff, the Cal Berkeley guy, going to the Rams. When I move out to LA, I'll become a huge Jared Goff LA Rams fan. So just giving you guys a warning for that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to talk about. Draft, that's really it. As usual, follow me at Edward L. Murphy on Twitter, at DNS_podcast on Twitter. This will be on the site, dishingandswishing.com. SoundCloud, Dishing and Swishing. iTunes, same thing. Just type it in Dishing and Swishing podcast. You'll find it. I'll post it everywhere. So this is a long one. Sorry for that. And I'll come back in a couple of days. We'll recap the NFL draft. I'll get deeper into the NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs. Right now, they're still in the limbo of the round 1 ending, and it's just been kind of boring. So we'll do a recap of first round, preview round 2 coming up. And again, thanks for listening. So talk to you soon.